So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It is Wednesday. That means it's time for me to sit here and drink coffee out of my WP Eagle mug and hope and pray that all of my technology is working as it should. It's so funny because I generally don't do like any sort of background like thing, but I saw this and I don't know if it's reversed for you guys. But I got it the other day and I spent $9.99 on it because I don't have any like thing like other than, like my kids' Star Wars stuff. And so I got this thing. And if you can't read backwards, I don't know if it's backwards. See, it's backwards to me. I'm looking at it at the screen, but it says, just because my path is different doesn't mean I'm lost. So basically, if you want a business idea, it's going and creating these and selling them for $9.99. And your avatar is me. Yes, that is me. If you are in the chat, please let me know. Can you hear me? Can you see me? And can you see my glorious waste of money that I just spent so that I have something to sit in the frame with me so I'm not alone? Oh, in the chat, I see Anthony. I'm assuming you are at work, my friend, but thank you for dropping in and saying hey. And there's Margaret and Jeff and Paul. Paul, I have been missing you, friend, and I just want to know how things are going. Please tell me that that you're good, first of all, first and foremost, and then second, that you have gotten some, like made some progress, even it's like small, like totally small, because I don't think I can handle going like once a month only getting your updates. I'm seriously just like, is Paul going to update us on how things are going? What's going on with Paul? Is Paul okay? I haven't seen anything from Paul. Oh my goodness. Let's see. I see Adrian. What's going on? And there's Jesse dropping in to be social, taking a break from world domination to say hi to us. There is Jasper making a live stream, which is awesome to see Jasper. And if you guys don't know who Jasper is, he was on the stream last week talking about his site, and he was on the podcast, and it was awesome. I've had a lot of really positive comments from people who actually came to me on Facebook. They're like, wow, that interview was really good. I'm like, I didn't do anything except ask questions. So thank you, Jasper, for participating in that and doing your best to make me look awesome, because that's the best. Let's see. Jeff says, the opposite, just because I'm lost doesn't mean my path is different. And then Margaret said she thought that it doesn't mean that I'm fat. Just because my path is different doesn't mean I'm fat. All right. I'm actually feeling like I should put a sticky note there and just put it on it so that it says that. Oh, Paul, he says, I'm good, but I haven't made any progress in the past week. Sorry, folks. Oh, that's all right, Paul. See, the thing is I can give you a hard time about it because I know that you really want to and that you're just going to get back to it. And so I can like gently like poke at you a little bit like, Paul, what are you doing? Paul, when are you going to come back and hang out with us? So I really hope that things at work get better so that you can get back on track. Pavan says, hello, we are right on track. That's right. There's 24K Will. What is going on, Will? If you guys aren't following Will on YouTube, he is putting out great content for those of us who are in the space. You should check it out. Oh, I miss you guys too. All right, just make it a Mad Lib. Yes. Well, if Alex WP Eagle is going to like rap and then give out like prizes literally every stream, I'm gonna have to up my game here. I mean, it's not enough anymore just to come here and talk and have a chat. Like I watched his stream, what was it, from yesterday or last night? And he's like literally rapping with like a beat. And I'm like, I feel like I should have the crickets sound and then my coffee cup and basically just tell everybody, like, go watch Alex's stream. I can't rap. I have like no sense of rhythm. I mean, look at me. Like it's hard enough for me to talk in the morning, and this is like 2 cups of coffee. Like this is like the high level performance right here. Like this is sort of the top, and then these guys are rapping. My God, good God! I have a harmonica though. You know the kids stole it. Oh, and then I found it and hid it from them so they can't get it. I don't want to play it too loud, otherwise Derek will get mad because it hurts his ears. Chris is asking, Will, what's your channel name? I can't find it when I search your handle. Will, feel free to drop that in the chat. I'm totally fine with you promoting it. So, hey, smash the like button. I'm looking at it. There's 13 of you there, and there's only 5 in there. That will tell YouTube that we're actually live right now, and get that out there. So the big news of the week, I'm sure if you are paying attention, if anybody is paying attention, but they released the news, 2 days ago, that the Core Web Vitals update that everybody is freaking out about has been postponed. I personally think that they have been like testing and tweaking this for a while, but they're saying that they're going to slowly roll it out starting in June, but it could probably there's people pulling levers back there right now, with the goal of having it fully released in August. So for folks who are like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. Turns out the end of the world has been pushed back to August. And I'm personally one of those people, with the Band-Aid, I just grab it and tear it off. And so just pushing it off until August to me is painful. Why can't we just do it and then deal with it? But that's not going to happen. And so people who were all concerned and worried will have another 2 months of being all concerned and worried. So thank you, Google, for that. They did, though, mention they were like, oh, but guess what? We released the page experience update to Google Search Console. And if you haven't gone in there to check that out, it tells you, let's see, what percentage of your URLs have a good page experience. So I went in there this morning to go check that out. And so far for my MIGA site, there's not enough data for Google to tell me one way or another if my URLs have a good page experience. But for my 2019 case study, I am proud to report that exactly 0 of my URLs have a good page experience, 0%. So I suppose, the only way to go at this point is up. I just wondered, is anybody in the chat suffering the way I am with a 0% good page experience rating from Google? Thank you for slaughtering my morning, Google Search Console. I really appreciate that. Jasper says, I really wish it would drop in May. I concur. I just wish they would get it over with. I mean, so think about how fast things happen. Last year, at this time, right now in April, I was super excited about my 2019 case study. I was it was this, on this trajectory right here. And then on May the 4th, it went, and I'm looking back and I'm like, man, has it only been 12 months since that happened? Because 12 months ago, I was super focused and cranking out content on that site. And then May the 4th happened and I went, yeah. And I was I basically haven't hardly worked on it since, but I feel in that time, so much has happened. It's been years since May the 4th happened. And it turns out that's not the case at all. It's only been 12 months and it feels like an eternity. Pavan says, but Core Web Vitals are introduced on Search Console. Yeah, same here. Jasper's the same here. 0% good page experience. Well, turns out you can still be successful with really apparently terrible page experience. Paul says, yep, 0% here too. Woohoo! High five, like internet high five. Margaret says, crikey, just check now. Also 0%. You're welcome. Yes, I'm so happy that I could help you understand just how bad things are. I'm going to drink coffee from this mug that was free and then kind of laugh to myself a little bit, evil, No, I guess it's kind of, I think it's a good idea for us to crowdsource this so everybody can understand when they go and look in there and see that they're at 0%, that they're not alone, because you're less likely to be as anxious about it. It's if people who are super focused on this are still struggling with the page experience, then can you imagine what it is that's happening to the people who aren't super focused on this? And there's actually one of those times I want to shout out Chris's video about outrunning the bear. I don't know if you've seen it come through if you're not subscribed to his channel, but that's totally exactly wow. I can't believe I just said that. I mean, that's totally exactly That's the strategy. You don't have to be the fastest. You don't have to outrun the bear. You just have to be faster than everybody else, and the bear can eat them. So that's all I'm saying. Will says, yeah, I was thinking how we build our sites at the mercy of Google and Amazon. Huge companies do the same thing. They build their business on another platform. Peloton would be in trouble if Apple released similar products, or health apps like Strava would also be in trouble if Apple made a. So you're thinking about what it is that we could do to build our sites to be at the mercy of someone else. For example, you'll have to help me understand your question or just the thought. Are we talking about building our site specifically to get traffic from somewhere else, or if we were just all to leave Google, the Google ecosystem, and then do something else to make money? Tell me more. I'm only on the second. I don't even know how many cups of coffee it's been. I did want to point out, I'm looking down at my notes, that tomorrow at noon Los Angeles time, I'm actually doing like an unusual live stream, because I am going to host Jared Krause for a live chat to talk about the businesses that he has bought. Well, he doesn't know that. That's what I'm planning on asking him about, because I don't know that much about the businesses that he operates. I know that he consults with folks who want to buy businesses, but I guess I've never really asked him, like, what does he currently own? And so he's coming at noon Los Angeles time tomorrow. It may conflict with other people's streams, but he's in Australia, which means it's extraordinarily difficult for me to stream at a time that makes sense for him. He promised that he gets up really early because he surfs every day. And then I'm jealous, because that's what he does, is surfs every day. And he can go on a live stream at 5 a.m. before going surfing. There was like a road at some point, and I just went like the wrong way. Like all these people who are just living these lives of like, where was the door? Like at what point did that choice happen? And I was like, law school. And they were like, this other thing, which leads to much better quality of life. I don't know what happened, and I missed it. Like I completely missed it. But I did want to talk about my MIGA site. And for folks who are in the chat, if you are working on sites right now or you have a MIGA site, I would love to hear anything about what is going on. I have definitely, I'm going to be doing the monthly update at the end of April, but I am excited to report that for ads, my site has crossed the $1 a day mark, not once, not twice, but 3 times in the month of April already. The EPMV seems to be dramatically higher. It's not like traffic has gone like, even though there's definitely like an uptick in traffic month on month, but the EPMV, because I have it on Exoic, has been significantly higher. So before, I was like really thinking that the site was going to settle around $10, which was not thrilling, right? It was just like, ho-hum. But I have a site that is currently bouncing around like between 4 and 6, and on bad days it's under that because of the pages that get ranked. So like I was thinking 10, like I could make it up in volume. But in the last week, I'm just looking over at my big data analytics stats, and it shows me that my EPMV has been $18, $15, $21, $12, $14, and then one bad day where it was at 5. So in the last 7 days, it's averaging $13, and without that bad day, it'd be dramatically higher. And I'm seeing a lot of days where it's over $20. Like it's literally bouncing up and down between the upper teens and $20. So that's one of the reasons why I've been able to get to over $1 a day. And I can just see that it's just creeping up over time. So I just think, I just need a little more traffic to have it consistently making $1 a day. So I'm really like excited about that. It's like, I'm excited. I don't even know how else to say that. But the reason I bring this up, one, is to like pat myself on the back. And 2, because it sort of clicked in my mind whether or not I think that this site is worth, I'm going to put my air quotes, like investing in, because up to this point, I haven't spent really any money on the site aside from buying the domain. And I haven't done anything else special with it. I've written the content myself, and I didn't want to start investing in content until I felt like there was some sort of, I don't want to say promise or hope, but just some reassurance that I would be able to make that money back at some point. So I I feel like this is a good sign. So I have decided to go ahead with starting to purchase some content, not a lot. I'm going to continue to write the bulk of it, but I'm finding that I don't want to call it niche fatigue, and I don't want to say like shiny object syndrome or the rest. I just think it happens a lot when you're working on a site and working on the same topics. Like there are some topics that you need to write about that you just don't really feel like writing about. And then these pages that you really need to get to, like they just like go farther and further and further and further down the like to-do list. They're in my site architecture. I know that I need to do it. I just can't make myself do it, either because I don't know that much about the topic, or it just takes too long, or just for some reason I have like a block of getting to it. And so I was like, fine, well, I am going to take those topics that are hard for me and then work on outsourcing them at something like at a rate that's fairly affordable. So the first thing I did was I went to buy sell text, because lots of people in this community use buy sell text. And I submitted one article just as a test to see at their lowest rate, because what I usually do, what I like to do or plan to do with these content mills is to start at the bottom rate for the content quality and then work my way up until I get to the point at where the article is good enough with a small amount of work for me to post it if I feel good about posting it. And so I put it at the lowest rate on buy sell text to see if I could get anything back. And they wrote me back and they're like, we can't write this for that. You have to buy our premium package to be able to get the article written for that, because it requires too much research. Too much research. And so I decided to just take my money back. And, props to them for looking at it and saying, we can't do this for you. But for me, I was like, okay, I'm cool. I'm going to keep looking. So then I went to iWriter, which I've never used. And I was like, okay, let's try this. And with iWriter, you put down a deposit, and then you go and you post your article or your job or whatever. And so I posted it at the bottom level, and then I just waited, and I waited a week, and nobody bit at the article at the lowest rate. I forget if it was like a 2 or 3 or 4 cents or whatever it was. So I canceled the job. And then I couldn't find anything on the website that talked about how to get my money back out, right? Because you put the deposit in and then I want my money back. And so there was nothing. So I had to contact support, and I asked them, I said, I want my money back because nobody bid at my job and I don't want to use the service. And apparently, so if you're going to use iWriter, know this: if you deposit money and you don't use it within 30 days, they won't give it back to you. It will just be a deposit in the future that they can use, that you can use for articles. And so to get my money back, and luckily I didn't like just let it sit there for a long time. I had to actually send them all of my account information, and I had to send them the confirmation numbers for the orders before they would send me my money back. And I was like lawyering up in my mind, like going into, I don't want to say beast mode, but going into like battle mode. I was like, I see a dispute coming up in PayPal, and then they sent me my money back. So I don't think it's legit that they can hold money, like they won't refund money for a service that you didn't want, you don't want. I imagine that for their books, what they probably do is that money goes into operating after 30 days and goes away. And so they just don't want to have that liability outstanding to have to pay money back out. So it makes sense. Just be aware that if you're going to use iWriter and you decide to deposit money with them, and then you're planning on getting that money back out, if you don't end up using it, is you need to request a refund within 30 days of the date that you deposited that money, or that money is gone, or you are stuck buying content with them. Otherwise, the money is gone. Jasper over in the chat says, I'm really struggling with the word count, kind of burnout, and still 50,000 left to go this month. We'll get there though. That is, I feel like the bane of those of us who work in this business, who are creating content themselves, because it's hard. It's like there's a certain, I feel like the creativity and the energy is like a bucket, and then you pull juice out of this bucket, and then you have to do other things to refill the bucket. But for the most part, if you keep pounding away at your website, there's it's hard for that bucket to get full again. And some people, that just happens naturally for them. Maybe they live, breathe this, or this is something that just clicks with them. And so that bucket just refills back up but I'm not one of those people. Right. There's only so much energy in that creativity bucket, and my kids suck it out and my life sucks it out. And so then I have a hard time getting things done because my creativity bucket is just like the dregs are at the bottom. And so I know for folks who are in the chat, who want to talk about burnout or what they do to like confront that. For me, I am able to get more work done and I feel better about it if I give myself the freedom to take breaks. So if I give myself the freedom to just take like one whole day off where I don't touch the computer, or I give myself a weekend off or take time off, and I can still make my word count for the month. But I just, it like they say, oh, you got to get to the computer every single day. And if you don't grind every single day, you're going to fail. Like, breaks are okay. I take breaks, and then it enables me to come back, and then I'm so much more motivated, and my content is better. The next thing that I really think helps me to get past that, I don't want to say burnout or the niche fatigue. I like the term niche fatigue. I'm just like, yeah, because if it was a different website and on a different topic, I'd probably be able to write content about it. But I'm just like so tired about writing about the thing that I'm writing about in the same topic. Like, it's niche fatigue. Maybe it's not burnout. It's just you're tired of the niche that you're working on. That's neither here or there. But the other thing that I think really helps me is taking time to talk to other people, sort of helping like crowdsourcing that, refilling the creativity bucket. So talking with other people about, or, the things that we're both interested in, like about websites, or, I mean, for me, this live stream like is that. It's my accountability lever, but it's also that bucket. We're coming here, being able to chat with people who are interested in the same things I am, and we learn things together. Like, this is my bucket getting like it's lifting up. So I don't know what's going to help you, Jasper, get to your word count goal this month, but I will say that destroying yourself just for the sake of getting to a word count, I mean, maybe you get this month and it's awesome, but it may make next month that much harder. Like, you have to build in some time for that creativity bucket. And if you just plow on through, plow on through, plow on through, it's not a long-term strategy at all. And for me, I am moving towards a little bit towards outsourcing just to help keep that momentum going, because I'm not filling up that bucket myself. I mean, this is helping, but it's not enough. Let's see. I'm just checking the chat. Chris says, oh, back to talking about Will. He says, our world is built on a single source dependency. Hey, yay. Pavan says, any idea what happens to traffic if we don't allow a view a page if reader is using ad block? So 15% of my traffic is using ad block. I have to wonder about that. So if people click on the link and then go to your page and then they can't view the page because the ads are blocked, they will bounce, right? They'll just bounce back. I think that would send negative signals to Google, probably for that article, that it's not serving those people. I don't know that it would necessarily understand that they couldn't access it because of the ad blocker. And because of that, they would just be seeing that the user experience is people go to the page and then bounce like right away, which is a really, really bad signal, I think, because the time on page is really low. And then it signals that article is not serving the search intent. So if people are using ad blocker, I probably would just let them be on the page and then try some other method to monetize their presence on the site. Maybe it's with trying to get them on the email list, or just some other method. I don't think I would block it outright for them, because our metrics are pretty important. I don't know for sure what will happen. That's just my guess. I'm happy to throw that to the chat. What do you guys think? If we like, if somebody was blocking ads, if we just prevented them from accessing the content on the site without ads. Jeff says he met his goal of 7 articles per month. Woo! Want to get to 30 for my actual first site, 7 to go. Every little milestone is so incredibly important. You set a goal and then achieve it, and that's, I think, helps me with my creativity bucket. Like that's the momentum bucket, that's the energy bucket. I think it helps. That's awesome. There is Zach. He says, glad he was able to catch the stream. Zach, I don't know how things are going with you. Tell me, like, are you still making progress on your site? I want to know. Will says, I was only thinking that many large companies also build their businesses on another business platform, and we do it with Google. Will says, how are the Amazon affiliate numbers for your MIGA site so far? Well, I'm sending clicks over to Amazon on the reg, and I actually just checked it. So in the last 30 days, I sent 40 clicks over to Amazon. Not many conversions, not many purchases. I'm not super optimized for succeeding with Amazon, but I figure if I can just continue to send lots of traffic over there, that around shopping season, at least there should be some additional monies come through there just as I drive more traffic through. But no, I don't have big numbers. I think I made, what was it? It was like $1 in the last 30 days. So I guess $1 is $1 when you have a brand new site, but it's nothing to be like, look at me, my Amazon affiliate site. Nah, this is an ads play. It's turning into an ads play. There's Sue. What's going on? How's it going, Sue? Jeff says, try we write blog posts. And Sabrina. So last week I was calling you Sabine, and then I tried to call you Sabrina. It's Sabina. Mom Van Up. Thank you. I'm gonna get it. I'm totally gonna get it, Sabina. I swear. There's Alexander. Hey all, and how are you? How am I? Well, I have my investment in my YouTube business. Do you like my? It's probably backwards. I'm working on the set now. This is it. Do you like the purposeful lighting that I have here? So I have this white light back here with this prop. That's right. That was all intentional. Pavin says, but show block page after 60 seconds with message. Yeah, I don't know. I probably would just let it be, but it would be something worth trying on a site that maybe you didn't care about as much. Sabina says, my traffic is getting lower. I have no idea why. I have a new site and it's expected to be huge, but it's dropped consistently in the past few weeks. Well, my question is, how old is the site? And traffic bumping up and down is really common. Like, especially like my MIGA site, it'll have a day where it's got like 60 visitors, and the next day it will have 5. And then the next day it will have 7, and then it bounces up and down. I think personally that's because Google is testing the content. I am wondering if you are doing or making any other sorts of adjustments to the site, like maybe you have updated your theme or you have added plugins or made any other like structural changes to the site. Because sometimes when you do that, it's almost like, I don't want to say resetting your site, but it also it can send signals to Google that maybe things need to be reviewed and re-indexed. And sometimes I don't want to say it resets the sandbox because I don't think that's right, but it can injure the rankings while Google does the dance again to try to figure out where it is that you fit in the ecosystem. So my response to that would be to shut down analytics and focus on writing content for the next 30 days and just not look at analytics every single day and just focus on your content, writing as much as you can, because getting obsessed with analytics is kind of like getting on the scale every day when you're trying to lose weight. And all it does usually is make you feel bad and then feel depressed and less motivated. So I'm actually doing this like fun fitness experiment with a friend of mine. It's like the first 7 days of a 30-day deal. And we took the scale. I took her scale because I don't have one. And I put it in the closet, and we're not going to get on it because all it does is make us feel bad. So focus on like the fundamentals of learning and posting content, and don't worry so much about what analytics look like. Margaret says, blocking ad blocker seems like a bad idea for a news site. Having visitors is a sign for Google. There you go. Alexander, I see Alexander loving it with hearts, and I'm see, I don't know, does this thing show up backwards for you guys or is it forwards? Because I don't know, all I can do is see myself and it's backwards. It's not backwards, so it's actually showing up forwards. That's cool. All right, well, now I know how this works. Will says, my site made its first bit of revenue, a whopping 61 cents from Amazon. Well, that is worth blowing out Derek's ears for this. Hey, that first money, like, I swear it is more exciting to make the first couple of dollars or cents or pennies or whatever with the new site than it is when the site is older and starts making more money. It just feels like potential. Like potential is so motivating and exciting. And once you get up there, you're like, oh, of course you're excited. But like it's proof that it's real and that this is a good idea. I don't know. I'm sort of addicted to starting new sites and getting to that first few dollars a day. The first $100 and so on. Like it's so cool. Alex says it's forward. Sabina says, oh, feeling better now. Yeah, that's why you come here. That is why you come to a stream like this and then talk with other people, because then you can understand that what you were thinking or feeling is normal and everybody's going through it too. I see 19, 20 people on the stream. That means it's a call out to hit the thumbs up buttons. Let's see. Zach says, I'm still writing every day. High five, my friend. Today has marked my 100th article, and you should be proud of yourself because getting to 100 articles is a big deal. That is a lot of work, and I think a lot of people don't get there. They think that they will because 100 sounds like a good round number. It sounds like a good goal, and a lot of people don't get there because it's hard. Let's see. And I think I'm starting to come out of the sandbox because my impressions and clicks to the site have more than tripled. How old is the site? I'm curious. How long did it take you to get to 100 articles? And if you say like 2 weeks, I'm going to cry because I feel like there are lots of people here on YouTube who are just crushing it, right? And it's like the sandbox doesn't exist for them, and it exists for me and most of us normal people. But please say like 6 months, because that will make me feel better. Alexander says, looks like I came out of the sandbox and making 5 cents a day on Ezoic, LMAO. I still think that money is money and it makes me happy. Will says, very true. It's very exciting. Thanks all. What else? Chris says, yeah, I never check the stats on my established sites. I check my baby sites like 20 times a day. I do. That is the truth. And maybe it's the site that I'm working on the most that I check the stats on. Because if I'm not working on them, they're not in my mind and they're just doing what they are doing. But yeah, I check the MIGA site daily, which I have sworn up and down that I wouldn't do that. And I think it's bad. But I check it in the morning. That's it. I don't like watch it all day long. I just try to check it one time and then just not stare at it the rest of the time, unless I'm like here on on the stream or making a video where I need to look at analytics. I just try not to look at it. Jasper says, yesterday I saw someone report nearly 180,000 page views after only 10 months. But please tell me that he was or she was using PBNs and like link building, like please, because otherwise I just want to know, like I want to know what the URL is for the site, because I just like, how do they do it? Like I want to go and just try to unpack and like take it apart and get in there and see all the nuts and bolts of how they are doing it, because that kind of stuff is not normal. And maybe we should like remind ourselves not to normalize these results, because those are not normal results. Those are extraordinary results. Those are results, not typical types of results that maybe we all strive for, but that's not typical at all. Do you know if it was an age domain? Yeah, great question. I just want to know more about it. You're going to drop us 180,000 page views after only 10 months. So here's another question. Was that 180,000 page views total? So like adding up like months 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and getting 180,000 page views? Or is it 180,000 page views a month? Because then I will feel differently about it. I will just say that I will feel differently about it. Margaret says, Amelia, did you apply Ezoic's news site thing? It's now available to me and I'm trying to get the energy to start. Are you talking about Leap? You talking about the Core Web Vitals thing? Please confirm for me, Margaret, before I go down the road talking about something that you didn't even ask about. Mom, Sabina says, like, yeah, I mean, I think I think the takeaway from seeing results like that is that it's possible, right? And that we can learn how to do those things. Those things are not, those are skills that are learnable. It's not something that is like born with or inherent, like jumping. I am never going to dunk a basketball unless you take a ladder and like put it up there. That is the only way I'm going to dunk a basketball. All right. I will never have the physical attributes to play in the NBA. But with a site like that that's making 180,000 apparently page views a month on a new domain, that is learnable. That is not like an innate quality. That is learnable, and that should be exciting to us, even though it's intimidating and maybe demoralizing because we're looking at our own stuff at 10 months and seeing like 5 visitors. But I don't know for sure, so I will not guarantee. But my guess is that for that individual, it's not their first site. And if it is, well, then I think that is hard work and luck because that is results not typical situation. It's just not. So I'm going to choose to look at that as motivational rather than demoralizing, which it can be when you see these big creators who drop their income reports and like John Dykstra's like $100,000 last month. And I'm like, and he's like, I just try to write one article a day. And I'm like, Jasper says, pretty sure he builds links. Yeah. I think that you have to do something else to make that happen. I mean, you're either having to outsource a ton, so you've got a ton of content, and then also it's just the authority aspect of it. You're going to have to be gaming the system somehow. So then you say, okay, well, I really love to know where this site is a year from now and 2 years from now and see what this individual is doing to protect the asset that he or she has created. Because if you're going after traffic really fast like that, it could also be taken away from you pretty quickly. Margaret says, yeah, I mean site speed. So yes, I have, I think I have 3 sites on Ezoic right now, and all of them I have enabled Leap. So far, what I can tell you is that none of my sites are broken because of it. And my MIGA site is on Leap now, and all I have seen is in the last week, 2 weeks, is that my EPMV has sort of skyrocketed. And so I know there's some folks out there who are trashing Leap because they said, oh, they started it up and it trashed their EPMV, or they think that it did, or they're just correlating like their EPMV crash to Leap. So on one of my sites, all I'm seeing is good things. I basically enabled all of the things and just sort of ignoring it. It doesn't have enough traffic going through the site yet to get enough data for like my ranking for how I'm doing on Core Web Vitals, which I suspect needs some work, but it's enabled and everything is still working. Like no origin errors, no caching errors. I dumped a bunch of my plugins to make it work right. Like I dumped my image plugin, I dumped my caching plugin, I turned off SiteGround Optimizer because this is a site that's on all 3 of these sites are on SiteGround, I think. And so I just turned off everything. So I'm running super light and it gets good page speed results with page speed insights. But not everything not everything is green. It's like not green all the way across yet. So I'm not sweating it. My second site that is on there just looks normal, looks the same deal. I will say that my third site, which is my 2019 case study, in the last month, the EPMV on it like basically blew up. So it went from like the 4 to 6 range, which is terrible normally. And it dropped down to about $2. And I had some days where it was under $2. And I thought, well, I don't know what this is from or why, but I figured that now was a good time to make some adjustments. So I updated the theme, and then I went back to looking at where the placements were. And I mean, do I think Leap caused that? I don't think so. I do think that the lazy loading features are impacting the firing of the Google Analytics tag. because the numbers over in GA4 aren't matching up with Ezoic. And so I suspect that as Leap is being fine-tuned, that is being impacted. But since I'm not planning on selling the site in the near future, like, I don't care, because the traffic is still consistent over on in the Ezoic backend. Like, the site isn't doing that great because I'm not working on it, but overall, I don't yet for sure have a good explanation for the EPMV, because people say, oh, well, Leap killed my this, that, or whatever. I'm like, well, how? I want to know that. And so I'm not ready to say meh or meh on it yet, because so far all I can tell is that everything is working fine. And for folks who are getting started with Ezoic, a lot of people have the technological troubles. And so that's at least the initial hurdle, is that everything is working fine. And I'm going to watch and see. And I generally, I wasn't using any sort of purposeful speed tools before. Like, I had Cycron Optimizer because it came with it, but I wasn't running, WP Rocket or NitroPack or Fastest Cache or any of these things. I wasn't using Site Speed Accelerator and all the rest. I was using the Ezoic CDN, but that was it. And so now I'm just watching and waiting and not trying to outrun the bear. That's about it so far. Sue says, I gotta love you and leave you. Not feeling too great. Have a great one. Sue is probably gone, but Sue, if you catch this later, thanks for dropping in. We always appreciate you, and I look forward to hearing about your progress. I know that you were planning or trying to just write a little bit each day, and I think that's a great goal when you're having a tough time. Let's see. Sabina says, maybe on my next site. So we're talking about like hitting out of the park with, to 180,000 page views a month. I probably will never make that happen, because not until I learn about like building links and getting good at that. I'm not good at that. I'm not good at that. And I don't like it. So we'll see. I will be thrilled if this site is making a couple $100 a month by the end of the year. Like, mind-blowingly thrilled to be making a couple $100 a month by the end of 12 months. I think that's a realistic goal. I mean, $1,000 a month would be hitting it out of the park for me. Like, that would be mind-blowingly awesome for me, but I don't think that's a realistic expectation. So a couple $200 a month, like $300 a month. I would be really happy to make it through the end of well, I guess it'll be Q1, Q4. When did I start this site? January. So at the end of December, to have like a really good Q4, I would be over the moon if that happened. Jeff says, or bring the hoop to your level. Well, you know what? Yeah, that is when I will become a basketball. Like, I will dunk a basketball, and with children's toys, like, I'm already doing it. But let's just face it, like, I'm never going to dunk about. I'm never going to play in the NBA. Why would we tell our children my children who are going to be short, that playing in the NBA is a realistic goal? Because it's not. They're never going to be tall. Never. Pavan says, check to see if compression is enabled, either Brotli or gzip. If not, enable it. It will definitely speed up pages. Most of that just went, whom. But for those of you who understood that, right on. Let's see, Zach said, it took me 101 days straight to write the 100th article. So you wrote an article a day for 101 days. Well, that is some dedication, and that is how you got there. And so that is one method to get there, and that is awesome. My site is 3 months old and 18 days. So to see some traction at 3 months, that's really exciting, which tells me, you say I'm writing in a highly competitive niche, but in another language other than English. Well, maybe it's not competitive in that other language. And I would be really curious to hear about like the ad rates and how that works out, writing in this really competitive niche in another language, just to see where the traffic is coming from and how that plays out. He says, and I think it has contributed to my site to start coming out of the sandbox early. Yeah, well, if you're, honestly think the sandbox isn't so much like Google putting your site on the shelf and just not touching it. I think it's just a brand new site without links, doesn't have enough authority to rank for hardly anything, with the exception of like the least competitive terms. I mean, that's why people can get traffic so early, is if Google has nothing else to serve up in response to to somebody's query, then they're going to serve up your site, even if it's brand new, assuming the articles are indexed. And that's why people are hunting for the least competitive terms. And that's why people are able to come out of the sandbox early. I mean, the sandbox is really just a matter of acquiring, in my opinion, sufficient enough authority to appear on page one for anything. And how long does that take? I think it depends on the competition that you're looking at. Margaret says, so Zach, you skipped a day. I 100. Yeah. So then people want to know, like, well, why did you miss a day, Zach? You're going to go for 100 days and then miss one day. Like what happened? And if it's personal, you don't have to share, but I am curious now that you mentioned it. Steven, what's going on? You almost missed the stream. You did, but it's good to see you. I'd love to hear your report and what's going on. So far, we have talked about Core Web Vitals. We have talked about my MIGA. Oh, I was talking about outsourcing content, and I never even got to finish that story. So I'll finish that, and then we've just been talking. Jasper says, I believe bulk publishing can be highly effective. Well, Jasper, you would be almost the authority on that because of the success that you had with your big site. I mean, getting in 24 months, getting a site to 200 and some thousand page views a month, doing bulk publishing. Like, yeah, I could see that. Charles, passive. I forget what his YouTube channel is, but he's trying to get to 1,000 articles as quickly as possible. And that's what he's doing. And so watching and seeing how he does. Jasper says, the guy I was talking to, so the guy who does 180,000 page views in a month for a 10-month-old site. So we'll just reorient folks who are just catching up. Says the guy I was talking to does 1,000 articles a month, or 1,000 articles at the end of month 12. So him being at month 10 means that there's a bunch of content on there. I would say so. So he's probably got, somebody do the math. 10 divided by 12 times 1,000. Basically, he's going to have 1,000 articles in 2 more months. And so he's got a lot of content. But all the same, I guess it's cool to know that he doesn't have 5,000 articles or 10,000 articles. So he's got under 1,000 articles in 10 months. So that's useful information. Probably plus links. Like, do you know what sort of links he's pursuing and how he's getting them and how many there are? I'm sorry. I just want to know, like, how could you repeat this? What could I do? Keith dropping in. Sorry you're late. Yeah, the time is flying. I'm looking over here. It's 10:47 and I don't even know how that happened. I must be needing to talk to adults because I feel like I've talked non-stop like today. And it's probably because I only talk to little people all the time. His thoughts said exactly on the sandbox. I think it's simply a period when Google is still learning and figuring out your site. Sabina says, if I'm struggling to find new keywords, thoughts on who to listen to? Well, first thing I want to know, Sabina, is how you are finding keywords now. Because then we can talk about how to find keywords using the strategy that you are currently using, or maybe recommending a different strategy. As far as people who I have learned from for keyword research, I think Niche Safari Chris is great for this. And I recommend Chris's channel all the time because I think he's legitimately posting content that's valuable and isn't trying to sell all the time. I think Sean Mars, his strategy is very effective. And yeah, I guess those are the 2 channels that I go to the most when I want to learn something or when they post a video. I think they're great. Zach says, that day I skipped, it was literally 2 days ago because I had to finish another job for a client. Ooh, you were so close. And then you're like, so was it at like 98 articles or like 97 articles? And you're like, almost there. And so how do you avoid burnout? Zach, like how do you keep going? I would love to know. Just joking. I think that's a fantastic achievement. I think we all think it's amazing. Adrian says, try Keyword Chef tool from Ben Adler. You get 1,000 credits for free. And if you need more, then you pay for the details. Sabina says, I understand, Chris. Sean goes over my head. You know what I have done, and I'm not afraid to admit to this, is that sometimes I have to listen or watch or consume content multiple times. And sometimes I have to try something and then go back and listen to it again or watch it again. Sometimes after having gained some other experience, because I listen to it again, it makes more sense. So I'm not somebody who use lots of tools just in general. I mean, as with the MIGA site, I'm not. But yeah. So I really do want to finish. Let's see. I was talking about deciding to purchase content for the MIGA site because I feel good about the EPMV, which is bouncing up over $20 more regularly now. Anthony says, "I love keyword chef." Um, I haven't tried it yet because I'm not using tools that much, but I would love to hear what other people who have thought of it, and all the rest. Finally, so I did end up outsourcing, like purchasing some articles, and the place that I ended up was actually on Writer Access. So I've used TextHun before, and I have tried. I want to say I've done pro. So finding a writer, right? I've posted the listing on ProBlogger Jobs, and I figured that would cost me, $70 or whatever to run the ad for a month, and then it would be a while before I got content. And then of course I'm subscribed to John Dykstra's newsletter and his email newsletter, and so he uses Writer Access in addition to hiring his own writers. And I was like, all right, well, it costs $40 a month for the most basic plan, but I can try it for 2 weeks free. And I was like, well, let's just try this, and I'll start at the lowest tier. I think John spends more for his content than I do. And but I was like, I just want to try it. I just want to try it and see how it works out. And so I ordered an article, basically the same article that I had tried to see if I could get buy sell text to write, and they couldn't. And then the same article I submitted to iWriter, and they couldn't. And then at 2 cents a word. And as this, there might be a lower quality, but I figured I'd just start with 2 cents because that was a nice round number. And it was, you can set it for a specific word count. I just set it between 2,000 and 2,500 just to see what would come back, because I didn't know. And so you have the option of paying like a flat rate. So, whatever it is at 2 cents a word versus just paying for whatever the word count comes back. So I just chose to do that. And so the article came back 2 days later. And at 2 cents a word, it wasn't like knock my socks off, right? But I didn't expect it to be. I expected to get an article back. If I could get an article back at 2 cents a word, that I would have to do some on-page optimization to, look at the H2s and H3s, and just doing some work on it. But the thing that I was happy about is, one, it came back in 2 days, right? So it was like there and gone. It was the right word count. It was at 2 cents a word. It was written by a native English speaker, because you can set where it is in the world people are coming from. And if people are gaming that with the VPN, I couldn't tell. And they got the research done that I just have been blocked on not wanting to do. So I can say tentatively that my experience with Writer Access has been good. I ordered another article just to try it out, and came back again by a different writer. So you have the option to go and look for specific writers, or you can send it to the crowd, and they give you like a 5% discount if you let them crowdsource it, which gives people who are getting started on their platform a chance to write at a discount. And so I did that, and the content that I've gotten back was good enough after I did some work on it, which I'm okay with, because I'm not ready to pay 8 cents a word or 6 cents a word or 5 cents a word, because I'm just not, for a site that isn't earning much yet. But I rarely recommend products or services or put affiliate links out there unless I've used them. So I tried iWriter, and I was like, nah. I tried buy sell text, and nah, not because their services were bad or that I didn't get good content. I just wasn't able to get the content on my terms. And so Writer Access was the first group where I was able to get it back quickly. And at 2 cents a word, it was good enough. And I don't want to have to deal with contractors and vetting writers, because I've done all that. And So it was really easy for me to just get content when I want it. The thing that's a bummer is that it costs the lowest price costs $40 a month. But considering I was planning on going to Pro Blogger Job and spending $70 for running an ad, I don't know. I'm going to balance it out. So if you are interested, there is a link in the description to go to Writer Access. They'll give you 14 days free and a $50 credit to order. And if you use my link, I think I get 5% of what you order. I'm just saying it. That's out there. Checking the chat, I see Miles Beckler has some good videos. That's what Jeff has to say. I haven't checked them out, but Miles went on Alex's stream the other day. I thought it was really interesting. Did anybody else see that stream? I think that was a pretty big snag for Alex to get a pretty big name on his channel, and I think it was just really fun. Miles was really down to earth, surprisingly. Keith says, what about Text Broker? I've had decent success with it and good rates too. I've never used it, but I'm going to put it on my list to check out. I really, people were talking up buy sell text like crazy there for a while. I don't know if it's just because they had a really good experience or their affiliate program is really good. But yeah, I mean, I'm willing to check it out. Jeff says, WeWriteBlogPosts.com follows the income store model of writing. So has anybody else used them? Because I haven't yet, but I would be tempted to check them out. Jasper says, what outsource platform are we talking about right now? I was talking about Writer Access. Jeff says 4 pricing tiers for WeWriteBlog. I can't even say that. WeWriteBlogPosts.com. It doesn't really flow. He says there's 4 pricing tiers. All right. Zach says, I honestly skipped the keyword research part of it because it was boring and started targeting everything that makes sense to write about in that niche. Well, if you're writing about it in a different language and there's not a lot of competition for that content, then it seems like you should feel free to run with it. I mean, if you're already getting some traction early on with 100 articles, it might be a sign that the competition just isn't there and you'll be able to crush it. I'm really excited and curious to see where this goes. Jeff says about WeWriteBlogPosts.com. I'm going to be able to say this. Sally sells she sup. Never mind. They take a little longer though. Yeah, I'm really impetuous when it comes to things like outsourcing. So if I get it in my mind that I'm not going to write an article and I want it back, I want it right now. And so if they're telling me that it's not going to be till next week that I'll be able to talk to somebody who wants to do this, that, or whatever, then yeah, it bugs me. And I by the time I will get around to talking to somebody about it, that urge to spend money on something will have passed. So that's something that Writer Access did for me, is they were able to just scratch that need really quickly, and iWriter and Buy Sell Text weren't able to do that. Jasper says, we write blog posts is great. Well, that's 2 votes for rewrite. Why can I not say this? We write blog. WeWriteBlogPosts.com. So now I'm just going to the site. It says SEO content that Google loves. All right. So that looks like, so I'm just going to leave that up over there. I'm going to look at it later. How it works, writing samples, order now. I'm super curious. Jasper says, we write blog posts is great, but pretty expensive. So yeah, they're not showing on the main page what the pricing is. Get started today for as little as 3.5 cents per word. So that tells you can't get anything cheaper than 3.5 cents per word. So I guess with something like Writer Access, if you were just going to order 1 article a month, then it wouldn't make sense to spend $40 a month or more. But if you were going to be ordering in bulk and could spread out the cost of that over time, it would be less of a big deal. I don't know. I like trying it out. I like trying things. It's fun. Mom, Sabina says she watched it. So you mean you watched Miles? And yeah, Miles is big time. It was really cool. Keith says another vote for We Write Blog. If I just say it slower, We Write Blog Posts. I got good results from them with a small order, and the content is written in Project 24 style. Anthony says, I found all my writers from iWriter. They give monthly deals too and got a bunch of free backlinks from the Hoth. So I was just really bothered with iWriter by the fact that if you deposit money with them and they hold it for 30 days, they won't give it back. That just, it's like the principle of the thing. It just, I don't think that's right. I just don't think that's right. And it makes me grumpy because like people could deposit money and then just not get to it. And then if they wanted their money back for a service that they haven't received, they can't get it back. And I just don't think that's right. I think they should give you your money back. But that's what I think. Anyway, it is the top of the hour. I don't even know what happened the last hour. It has flown. But I want to thank everybody who is here. Leona says, agree. I'm going to ask you to smash the like button if you have not done that already, because we are going to move towards wrapping up. Tomorrow at noon, Los Angeles time, I will be back for a special stream, a special Out of the Ordinary stream with Jared Krause from Buying Online Businesses. Jared is a really fun guy to talk to, and he really just has a lot of insight, especially for folks who are looking at buying or selling in the near future. It's nice to have somebody to ask questions of and bounce ideas off of. And we talk about building websites all the time, but we don't always talk about building them with the thoughts about what to do to get them ready to sell. And I think that is important. So everybody look for the thumbnail because I will actually create it and schedule it hopefully today. And hopefully I'll see some of y'all tomorrow. Thank you so very much. Wait. Did I see Renee Christine Ralph about Income Store? I am interested, and I don't know who Renee Christine Ralph is, and please tell me. I was like ready to like end stream, and now I want to know what this is about. You'll have to tell me. Somebody tell me. I'm like Sabina, you better not have logged off because I'm like I don't even know. Now I'm gonna have to go over here and look. Who is Renee Christine Ralph? Renee Christine Ralph. Renee Christine, no Ralph. Renee Christine on what? On YouTube? And Income Store? I don't even know. Income Store? I can't find it. All right, well, link me. She's a YouTuber. I found her channel, and now I'm like, is she Cupcake Trainings? Is that who she is? Renee Christine YouTube. I'm like, I want to know how to avoid Ponzi schemes like the Income Store. So is she Cupcake Trainings? Yes. So did she get sucked into it? Now I'm curious. I have the video. I will go and check it out. It says scam all over the thumbnail, which is super clickbaity. But I am curious now. I'm going to check it out. I will be interested. All right. I'm really going to go this time. Thank you so much, everyone. Hopefully I'll see some of you tomorrow. And if not, I will see you next Wednesday, normal time. And maybe I will have other decor for you to check out. Take care.